Happy Wednesday, Seahawks fans. Welcome in to Seahawks Today Live. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. We have a big show ahead as for this next hour, we will be answering your questions. We will also go over some schedule predictions for 2022. Also have some injury news to get to on Kenneth Walker, Boye Mafe, among others. And we have an update on the waiver claims in the practice squad for your Seattle Seahawks. Before we officially get started, this is what we call the build-up portion of the show. And so with that, shout us out. Where are you watching from today? I am here, joined alongside producer extraordinaire Jeremy Chuggs, who's back with us. Jeremy,
let's get it.
Welcome back. We didn't have you for the watch party last week.
I missed y'all.
Good to have you back. The Seahawk fans were asking about you. They're glad you're home here on the channel today.
I put on a minty kind of Seahawks mixed foam green.
Looking minty fresh?
Yeah.
I like it.
Had to get ready for the show today. I was excited for Seahawks Today Live.
Yes. So we are broadcasting from Dallas, Texas, downtown Dallas, where our studios are at, and we want to know where you guys are watching.
You got somebody from Seattle, Michael, Yakima,
Yakima, Washington.
Sounds like a car, Yakima.
Seigens from San Diego.
What's up, Dat Fat Rat?
That Fat Rat's a real one. Always here. Always having a good time. Michael says Chuggs.
My guy. Amos from Philly.
Okay.
West Philadelphia, born and raised. Are the playgrounds where you spent most of your days?
Brady is checking in from Kennewick, Washington. The Tri-Cities is where that is. Thomas checking in from Tulsa. Good to see you, Tom. Also, Shankar from Atlanta. Got Minecraft from Ireland.
Donkor!
So, I don't have Guinness, but I do have Coors Light today for our Ireland
Thanos Smith from Vermont. Dr. Chicken, I'm a real one. You are a real one, Dr. Chicken. You're here with us right now.
Yes. And got a Go Hawks. So, as we mentioned, this is the build-up portion. So, in order to actually start and go on with the show, we have to get to 50 likes. We're at 10 so far, so hit the like button, and we'll continue with the build-up portion.
Guys, me and Tyler were talking. We decided to have a little contest. I want to see which person in the chat knows their Seattle Seahawks the best. So we have a little contest with this next question. Who can name the most Seahawks wide receivers? I'm not talking this season. I'm talking all time. If they've ever been a Seahawks wide receiver. Who can name the most in the chat right now? I'm going to be counting and seeing who. Oh, Minecraft Soft said Shrek is Scottish.
I didn't know Shrek was Scottish.
Sorry,
That's news to me.
I'm not very well versed in my European geography.
I'm part Scottish too. Does that mean I'm related to Shrek?
That makes sense. I mean, the swamp didn't look that nice. I know Ireland is a beautiful country, so the swamp wouldn't be there. But let's see. Who can name the most Seahawks wide receivers in the chat right now? I want to see who can get the most.
Dr. Chicken is off to a good start.
He's got 3 off the top right now. He's got 4. I don't know if anybody can beat him. Armtech has 2. Let's see. Get those rolling in. Dr. Chicken with 5.
Let's see.
Wayne says, I can name more with a couple shots in me. Hey, keep them going, Wayne. Keep them coming. Let's see. Dr.
Chicken's running away with this.
Yeah.
Freddie Swain.
Thomas Bridges with the super chat. We'll get to that in just a second. Mark Lyon with 1. Minecraft Soft. Let's see. Oh, Nathan with a bunch in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. Dr. Chicken, though, he keeps on coming back with them. Dat Fat Rat, let's see.
Okay, Dat Fat Rat
keep them coming. Who can name the most Seahawks wide receivers all time?
Big Hoss throws in Jerry Rice.
Chasten Bear.
Short
Mark
tenure
Lyon.
it was for Jerry Rice in Seattle, but he was a member. Nate Robinson getting
Dat
some
Fat
love.
Rat coming in. Michael coming in with some votes. I think Dr. Chicken's still in the lead. Can somebody usurp him? We'll see. We'll come back to this question in just a second.
Yeah.
But we do have a super chat from Thomas Bridges.
My guy, Tom Bridges, checking in. Which Hawks win more this year, the Seahawks or Jayhawks? So, where's my cup? Do I have it on me? There it is. My University of Kansas Yeti on hand today. I got to have my water, my H2O. My Kansas Jayhawks at best will win 4 games, I would think, and that would be the best season they've had in years.
Nice.
Right? And that's at best. The Seahawks at best, I think, would be 7 or 8 wins at very best. And so I would lean towards the Seahawks. Obviously, they play more games, but that's what I would look at. And that's one of our poll question today, which I'd encourage you to vote in the chat right now. How many games will the Seahawks win? 1 through 5, 42% right now. 6 to 10, 50%. 11 or more, 8%. Get your votes in the poll.
I totally forgot Terrell Owens was a Seahawk for a minute. Until Minecraft Soft put that in the chat. I totally forgot about that. Paul Richardson, that's a good name. That's a sleeper. Golden Tate, Deion Branch. Oh, yeah, Deion Branch did come over. Was it after the Patriots?
Yes.
I think so. Josh Gordon for a time between his
Daniel says
punishments.
He can name 9, but
you got to put him in the chat.
You got to put
Daniel.
him in. You got to prove that you can name them.
Wayne coming in. Oh.
Okay.
Whoa, we need some commas or some periods in that one, Wayne. Percy Harfin. I think Dr. Chicken may have won this. I'll give everybody a second to get their last votes in. Let's see who can name the most Seahawks wide receivers all time.
You know what could be a good game of this? If I asked Seahawk fans if I gave a name and guessed if it was a real receiver or not.
Nathan Jenkins. Oh yeah, Nate Jenkins. He said he's named 21. Let me stop the count. Stop the count. Hold on. All right. Oh, he's got 8 right there. Yeah, I mean, it's checking out Nate. Nate's named a bunch as well.
So
Nate, I think Nate's our winner right now.
Okay, so here I'll put this game to a test, Seahawk fans. I'm going to name somebody, and you have to guess in the chat, are they real or are they not? Or did they play wide receiver for the Seahawks or did they not? Here's the name I'm going to give you. Bob Scott. Bob Scott, real or fake? Jeremy, real or fake? What do you think?
I'm guessing real. I mean, it sounds like a name of somebody in like the first season of the Seahawks, like of their first expansion team. They had a random guy named Bob Scott.
Bob Scott, what do you guys think? Is Bob Scott real or fake? Let's see what the chat has to answer.
For who named the most, I think it might be a tie between maybe Wayne King, Dr. Chicken, and Nathan Jenkins.
Okay, so got 1 vote for real. Got
a lot of
several
people
votes saying fake. And Jeremy Chugg says real. Let's see. Bob Scott, real or fake?
Well, all right. What is it, TJ?
The answer is fake.
Fake? Okay.
I only could fool Jeremy and then one person in the chat.
Well, I was like, I mean, it sounds like a basic name. It could be somebody. I don't know. But hey, good job, Wayne. Good job, Nathan.
Yes.
And good job, Dr. Chicken. Y'all were the 3 people who I think put in the most Seahawks wide receivers today. We're going to play this game on a couple more live shows, so
yeah,
stay around.
I like it. Only at 18 likes right now. Got to get 50 to start the show, guys. Come on, let's get that up there.
All right, next question.
We can do better than that.
On a Madden scale, how good is the Seahawks roster? Scale 1 to 99. TJ?
The Madden scale I would give, this is, as I've said many times with this Seahawks team, a very young group that is building, right? That I think their fruits of their labor are going to pay off down the road, but a long ways to go. I would realistically give this roster about a 77 or a 78.
Okay.
That's the Madden scale I would give it. I do see a 69 in there.
Nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
I think everybody's kind of in that same range as you. I see 77, 79, 69, 77, 81, 71, 75, 81, 60, 78, 74, 66, 78. I think I would give it probably a 76. It's got a lot of young guys, and if I'm doing I play Madden all the time. I love Madden.
What are the Seahawks rated on Madden this year?
this year I don't have the new Madden yet. I'm still on Madden 22, but what I'm guessing is they don't value rookies very much. So a lot of the rookies are going to be 72 overall, 73 overall. So in result, I'm thinking the Seahawks roster maybe a 75 because it's got a lot of youth on it.
So let's see. Tom says 74. Daniel says 76. Dr. Chicken says 78.
Let's see it.
Justin says 67. Dat Fat Rat says 79. Michael says 75-ish. King Nate says 80. And the official number from the guys at Madden, what is it, Jeremy?
It is 76, what I said.
Okay.
No, I said 75. So one over what I said.
Not the lowest in the league. The Giants and the Texans are rated worse.
Yep.
But you know what that does mean, though, is that when you play franchise mode in Madden, now you have something to build. You really have to work to get this team to the top. Makes for a more interesting franchise mode.
Also, guys, just a reminder, we're going to have a Q&A coming up later. You can start getting your questions in right now using #Seahawks, or you can be a big baller like Thomas Bridges and Super Chat, and that'll jump you to the front of the line.
And we have a Super Chat menu today, right?
Oh, thank you for reminding me, TJ.
So you guys were just buying me shots last week that we figured we'd bring the Super Chat menu to the live show, too. Every Super Chat, you're going to get a shout-out. $5, little beer cheers. $20, we'll take a shot. So the shot glasses here. Last week I had a discount. They were only $5. We've raised the stakes. Beer for $5, shot for $20. And I do have the fireball in hand right here. So
awesome. Let's see.
So if
get those questions in right now using #Seahawks. We'll get you on the show. We'll get you on the live show. And me and Tyler are going to answer your questions.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun today. Use that #Seahawks to get your questions in. That kind of narrows things, so Chugs makes it easier for him to go through the questions. Very much easier if you use the #Seahawks. Or the easiest way at all is just to go ahead and super chat, and you're going to go straight to the front of the line. Got to get to 50 likes to start the show. We're at 31 so far.
I have another question for you guys.
Another question coming in. Confidence level in the running back room. So scale it 1 to 10. Let's tell you about the situation as things stand right now. So Rashad Penny coming back from his injury. Kenneth Walker III, we got an update that we're going to tell you about him coming up later, his injury situation. That's what we call a tease in the biz. And then you have Travis Homer and DJ Dallas coming off really good preseasons performances from both running backs. What's the confidence level right now? Knowing where things are at with the team being hurt by the injury bug a little bit, but seeing good performances from those other backs, where's your confidence level? My confidence level is pretty solid. I would go with about an 8, I think. Yeah. I think that this running back room is really good, and there's a lot of potential for growth with this group. But what about you guys? What's your confidence level with this running back room right now?
I think an 8 is pretty fair, Tyler, because you don't have that workhorse like best running back in the room type guy.
Right.
But you have 4 guys who you feel good trotting out on Sundays. I mean, DJ Dallas, Travis Homer showed a lot in the preseason.
Right.
Kenneth Walker was electric last year for Michigan State. And then we know Rashad Penny, he put it on at the end of last season, and there's a lot of expectations for him moving forward.
Right. Yeah. Pete Carroll, we know, wants to be a run-first team. He wants to run the football, and you have good running backs. But for me, it's the offensive line that still has to put it together. Starting bookend rookie tackles, that's going to be a challenge to establish the run and do what you want to do in the ground game. For me, it's not so much the running backs themselves, it's the blockers up front if they're going to be able to do their jobs and provide space for those guys to work.
And Jason K put it good, if they can stay healthy, which that's been a problem to start the year so far. I mean, we're talking about Kenneth Walker later on in the show, and then obviously we know everything that's gone on with Rashad Penny and his career so far. So if they can stay healthy, I like it. I think it's a deep running back room. I don't think it's the most top heavy, but I think each of the 4 guys on the roster right now could make almost all 31 rosters.
Yeah, it's a very good running back room, and it's a deep group. I like what they bring to the table, and for Geno Smith, who we know is going to start week 1, I mean, it's really simple for him. You're a run-first team, and your job is to run the football to open up the play-action passing game.
Yep.
If Geno can do well in play-action and avoid making turnovers, that can go a long way for the offense there. We'll get started with the show in just a few moments. We are 10 likes away from getting started. Like the video to get started on today's show.
Let's go.
Build-up portion. Hit that like button, and we will get started momentarily.
Got 95 people watching, 10 just little clicks. We got today's show started. Let's go.
Yeah.
We got this.
We're almost there, guys. I believe in you. And share the show with your friends, too. Get them in here, your fellow Seahawk fans, and we're going to have a good time today. So look forward to that, and we'll be answering your mailbag questions later on. Use that hashtag Seahawks. I'm seeing questions. I think Wayne's asked me a couple things. Got to use the hashtag Seahawks if you want that on there so we can make things easier for producer Chugs to get through all that. So get those likes up. I see already a couple more coming in. Hit the like button once we get to 50. Almost there. Then we'll get started with a Seahawks Today Live.
Nathan Jenkins says he needs to join the show just so he can fight Tom Downey. Hey, if you're ever in Dallas, bring your boxing gloves.
I don't know if Tom Downey's ready for the fight.
Oh, he's not ready. I think we're there.
Yes, we are just about there.
All righty.
Coming up on Seahawks Today Live, we'll go over the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors on your favorite team. Also, we will have a live Q&A mailbag. You have questions, I have answers. We will answer them for you. And to end the show today, we have a Seahawks record prediction that we'll be giving you, breaking down every game of 2022. All that and more coming up next here on Seahawks Today Live. Welcome in to Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we will look at the waiver claims that were made by the Seattle Seahawks as they have picked up 2 more players to add to their 53-man roster. Also, we will look at the practice squad signings for the Seahawks. Some of the names that you maybe grew to love over the preseason that ultimately got cut, well, they're back. A few of them are. We'll tell you who those guys are on the Seahawks practice squad. Also, some injury news and notes, including on Kenneth Walker III and Boye Mafe. All that and more coming up in just one moment. Before we do, though, subscribe to Seahawks Today to get daily Seattle Seahawk videos all year long. Hit that red sub button so you can be a part of what we're doing each and every day, covering your Seattle Seahawks with watch parties, live shows, breaking news, and everything in between. It's all in one place. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications as well. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Let's start with the waiver claims. And you may be asking yourself, well, how do the waiver claims work? Well, to put it in a nutshell, it goes based on the draft order from this past draft. And so the Seahawks kind of had a edge of sorts of getting guys they wanted, maybe compared to other teams. Let's start with Isaiah Dunn, who they were able to claim from the New York Jets, a cornerback, adding to the secondary for Seattle. And with these waiver claims, there's no practice squad involved. You go straight to the 53-man roster. Dunn is familiar with the Pacific Northwest, playing at Oregon State. And last year didn't see a whole lot of action. 8 tackles, no interceptions, and 2 pass breakups. But let's go back to what Lance Zierlein, NFL.com draft analyst, had to say about Dunn when he was coming out of college. The measurables show Dunn is fast and has good length, but he doesn't always play like it. He's an inside-outside cornerback, prospect, possessing explosive traits, but no career interceptions to show for it. Dunn has played outside for most of his career, but might be better suited as a slot in the NFL. He's extremely twitchy with the ability to mirror route breaks, but he just doesn't find his way into passing lanes often enough. The intriguing athletic ability is worth a look and could earn him a stay in the league if he can improve his ball production. So that's what Zierlein had to say. Here is a look at the Seahawks depth chart where things stand right now. As you can see, with Justin Coleman getting cut, Kobe Bryant is in position to be the new starting nickel corner. And that means Sidney Jones and Artie Burns should be your outside corners for the Seahawks. Trey Brown, who started at the end of last year, he's on the PUP list, and he will miss at least 4 games to begin the year. But when he comes back, he'll be competing for one of those outside cornerback spots. So that's the situation as it stands with Isaiah Dunn joining the Seahawks. Now let's tell you about Darryl Johnson now, who the Seahawks picked up and previously played in Buffalo as well as Carolina. And in 2021, just 3 games played, 1 tackle. Not great for Darryl Johnson with the limited production. But nonetheless, the career statistics, as you can see on your screen right now, in 34 games, he's had 30 tackles, 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 5 quarterback hits. And adding another piece to this linebacking core. And as you can see, Tyreek Smith on the IR right now. And so the Seahawks needing some help, trying to find whatever they can with this group right now. Darrell Taylor, Jordan Brooks, Cody Barton, and Uchenna Nwosu will lead the way for the Seahawks in that linebacker and edge group. This new scheme that we're going to see from the Seahawks with a new defensive coordinator, Clint Hurt, switching things up for the Seahawks there. So those are the waiver claims. Those are the additions that the Seahawks made. How would you grade the moves that Seattle did? Finding these players to slide in on the 53-man roster, taking those final spots. What do you think about that? How would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comments section how you would grade those moves by the Seahawks. Put a letter grade on it. You be the judge. A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know. Now let's talk about the Seahawks practice squad. And we looked at yesterday the players that were released when the Seahawks narrowed down their roster from 80 to 53. And some of your favorite Seahawk players that you've become a fan of over the last few weeks or so ended up not making the cut. But now they have an opportunity to earn a spot on the 53-man again at some point this year with being added to the practice squad. There's also some new faces as well, including quarterback Sean Mannion, former Oregon State product. Also, Darwin Thompson is back, the former Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs. Cade Johnson also returns, as well as wide receiver Bo Melton. Melton, of course, was one of the Seahawks' 7th-round wide receiver selections. Also on the list, making their returns, tackle Liam Ryan, Greg Eiland also on the list, and tight end / wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside also joins the Seahawks, rejoins the team. They traded for him a couple weeks ago, ultimately released him, and now they're hoping that they can do something with him, that they can find a role of some sorts for the former 2nd-round picked in the same round as DK Metcalf. Also Tyler Mabry, also on the practice squad at the tight end spot. Then you go to defensive players. Vi Jones, who really stood out, had a really good preseason for the Seahawks at linebacker, the undrafted product from NC State. He gets added to the list. Also, Aaron Donkor is a part of that list as well. And Donkor, as an international player, does not count against. As being a part of that international player program, he doesn't count towards the official number. There's also Tanner Muse, the former Raider, and was also with the Seahawks recently. Spent some time at Clemson, winning a national championship there. He gets picked up. Quandre Mosely at corner, and then Scott Nelson is back in Seattle as well after missing out on the 53-man roster. So that's the practice squad for now. Still get out a couple more names throughout the process as well. Today's show is presented by BetUS, and BetUS, they have your game covered, folks, as they are offering a 125% deposit bonus at chatsports.com/bet. And you may be asking yourself, well, how do I get this deal? Well, I'm glad you asked. Here's what you do. Go to chatsports.com/bet, and let's say that you put $100 down. They're going to give you $125 to spend for free when you use that promo code Seahawks125 at checkout. You can bet on college football games this weekend. You can bet on NFL games, including Week 1, when the Seahawks take on the Denver Broncos. Early lines already show Denver as a 6.5-point favorite. The Seahawks let's see what they can do. That might be intriguing to take the Seahawks to cover that one. Total over-under 42. Life's too short to bet the under, folks. Put the money on the over there. Get your bets in now. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125. Let's go over the injury front for your Seattle Seahawks now, and a few things to cover there. We begin with Kenneth Walker III. Kenneth Walker III, the rookie running back the Seahawks selected in the second round out of Michigan State. And he has been on this road to recovery with not a whole lot of questions answered at this point with Kenneth Walker III of where his status is. We've heard Pete Carroll say before that they hope to have him back week 1, but doctors don't really have a timetable for Kenneth Walker at this point. So here's what Pete Carroll had to say. This is really uncharted territory for him and for us too in that regard in what he's coming back from. He feels way better. He's moving around. He was throwing the football around today. It's just going to be one day at a time, and I told him I'm going to start punching him in the stomach here pretty soon, a couple days from now. So, not much there from Pete Carroll, but nonetheless, they would love to have him back out there. You can see the updated Seattle Seahawks running back depth chart. Rashad Penny is good to go for week 1. We'll see about Kenneth Walker III, but the Seahawks really liked what they saw from Travis Homer and DJ Dallas. And I think DJ Dallas has a good shot to be your third down back with the way that we saw him as a receiver for the Seahawks. He would be a natural fit. So the Seahawks have other options if Kenneth Walker's not quite ready to go for week 1. Where's your confidence level in the Seahawks running back room right now? Talented group, we know that much, and they have depth. But with the injuries and how things have stacked up and the injury history, where's your confidence level right now? Let me know in the comments section. Scale it for me. 1 to 10. Put a number on it where your confidence level is on the Seahawks running back room as of right now. More injury news. Let's tell you about Damian Lewis now. Damian Lewis, of course, on the Seahawks offensive line, somebody that the Seahawks would love to have back as soon as possible. And Pete Carroll gave an update on Lewis saying Damian is doing well, quite well. He's running in the pool and doing some stuff, and he's really encouraged that he's going to be able to make it back. But we got to see. It's what the players, Damian's thinking. So that's the latest from Pete Carroll there. Nothing specific, but other than that, he's doing well. So that's good to hear on that front, but no timetable necessarily announced on Damian Lewis there. And then there's one more to get to. That's Boye Mafe, who was absolutely terrific this preseason, making his case for playing time. And Pete Carroll had this to say on Boye Mafe and his recovery. He was running today. He was out there. He's in pretty good shape to make a bid for coming back 2 weeks from now. So it looks promising that he will be okay. So that's very good on Boye Mafe's front. And what we saw of him, at Minnesota, 7 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and with what he did in those preseason games he was out there, in particular the Steelers game, he was just all over the field, just flying all over the place. Got to imagine that when he gets back, he'll be a big impact for the Seattle Seahawks, and they hope to have him back sooner than later as a rotational piece among those edge and outside linebacker options for the Seahawks. I really like what he brings to the table, and he's going to be a lot of fun. I think he'll have a really good rookie year. Thanks for joining us. If you made it to the end of this video, spam real one in the comments because you're a real one. Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today. We'll see you next time. All right, so we will get to our Q&A mailbag here in just a second. But before we do, today is National Matchmaker Day.
Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match.
So,
Find me a fine.
Folks, what is your relationship status? Let's get personal.
Yeah.
Chugsy, we know your answer. You're an engaged man.
Yep. Sorry, Seahawks ladies. I'm taking all this. It's already accounted for. I'm sorry.
What's your fiance's team? Who are you taken by?
I'm sorry to say this. She's a Cowboys fan.
Oh, no!
I know.
No!
Do I take it back? Do I take the ring back? Why for yes and for no? You tell me. Very bad. Very, very bad. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. And Jonesy, he's currently on the market looking for MILFs in his area.
Oh, my God. I am, I would say, single, ready to mingle. My buddy David Starr, he always tells me all the time, he says, Tyler, you don't need a girlfriend. You just need a couple girls with Mac on or whatever.
Hey, do you know Tyler's motto?
I just like to have fun.
You know Tyler's motto, if you're old, let's get bold. Let's get it together,
that's
baby.
That's not my motto, but
Tyler likes the older women.
I don't know about that. I like women my own age.
And a little bit older.
I don't discriminate. I'm open-minded, personally. Let's see. What's the chat saying?
Brady says happily taken. Let's see. Dennis
Dirty
says married.
D says divorce her. They're not even married yet. He can't divorce her.
Daniel says married. Dat Fat Rhett says single, and I like the Pringles. Jason K, married for 22 years. Big ups on that.
Chris, next week celebrating 10 years with his wife. That's awesome.
Hey, wow, congrats.
Douglas, single, never married. That's all right. Let's see. Someone says, I'm on the Zach Wilson grind. I don't know about that one.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Let us know. What's your relationship status?
And if you don't want to put it in the chat, that's fine. You can get your Seahawks question in, though, using hashtag Seahawks.
You could.
Because we're about to do – yes, Kathrak. We're about to do –
MILF Monster.
We're about to do a Seahawks live Q&A. We're going to be answering all your questions. Use hashtag Seahawks in your question. I'll put it up on the screen. Tyler's going to answer it. That's how the whole thing works.
How would you define love, Chugs?
Love?
Yes.
It's finding somebody that cares for you unconditionally and loves you for who you are.
That's good. I like that. I mean, there's a difference between being in love and puppy love, right?
Yeah.
There's a huge difference out there. I think of it this way. I believe the term is properly in love.
Oh, wow. M. Grubb, I just celebrated 25 years of marriage in May, and I have 7 children. Hey-o. You got enough
7 kids.
Basketball team plus 2 subs. Let's ride.
Right? That
Let's
team's
go.
going to dominate. Yeah. Let's see. What else we got in the comments?
Douglas says he's on Team Tyler.
Douglas says he's a MILF hunter. Let's see. Arsenal Apex says, because I love Chugs unconditionally.
Hey, it's right there. I feel the same way, Arsenal Apex. I appreciate you.
Wayne says, wiping tears away, Jeremy. How about that? Love is a great thing. Not
what
something
is
that.
Love? Baby, don't hurt me.
It's all about finding the
Don't
right person, though.
hurt
You don't need to rush into it when you're not ready. I was amazed, Jeremy, when I graduated high school not too long ago, 2014. And how many people I knew I went to school with that got married or had kids before they were ready. I'm like, what are you in a rush for, folks? I mean, go enjoy yourself.
Yeah, Tyler's just ready to.
I just want to have fun.
He's ready to chill, ready to have fun. And when he finds the older women that he's ready to settle down with, then he'll know it's time.
Who said I had to be with older women?
It's just a thing, Tyler. It's just a thing.
I don't know what you're talking about, Chugs. I don't know what you're talking about. Super chats right now.
Hey, if
nice at $6.99.
If you got your Social Security check coming in, hit up Tyler Jones. That's all I'm saying. Let's get it rolling.
Good Lord. Mike Texas, 6 grandkids.
Michael Garza says, I just got on. What did I miss? We broke down the Seahawks waiver claims, their practice squad, and some injury updates on Kenneth Walker, Boye Mafe, and Damian Lewis. The updates from Pete Carroll of they're all working on coming back. Boye Mafe, he said about 2 weeks out. Not really a timetable on Kenneth Walker, but he's back on the practice field, at least on the side, throwing footballs and working out. Damian Lewis, he's getting some pool work in, so he might take a little bit longer, but at least he's on his road to recovery of right now.
So here's a good point. For whatever reason, still don't know why, you guys call me Papa or Daddy or Father or whatever it may be. And Dat Fat Rat says, Papa, we need a mama. Oh, my gosh. I don't know about that one.
Yeesh.
We're a ways out from there.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you all one day, as I think of all you, since you call me Papa, I guess you're all my children. And let's put it this way. Mama left a long time ago.
Mama was a Rolling Stone. All right.
We get some super chats to catch up on too.
Oh, we're gonna start off the mailbag with Cool Ass Dude Man, his super chat.
Okay.
We're gonna start off the show, but that was a $5 super chat. So Tyler, get that beers up. Cheers it to the fans.
Yes, and so the mailbag, folks, how this will work, you can jump the line by super chatting, and or you can send in your questions by using hashtag Seahawks to get on the show. That's the way to do so. What are you laughing about?
Oh, nothing. Just the chat is funny. Just a reminder, TJ, this is cold open.
It is.
All right.
So
cool. We're gonna get started with our mailbag here in just a second. Throughout the whole mailbag, you can still get your questions in using hashtag Seahawks, and we're gonna get into it right now.
So without further ado, get your questions in, and we'll get started with today's mailbag. Subscribe now to Seahawks Today for never-ending Seattle Seahawks coverage of your favorite team, whether it's live shows, watch parties, news, rumors, breaking news, and everything in between. We got you covered here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now. What are you waiting for? YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Never miss a moment of the latest happenings with your favorite team. Turn on notifications as well at YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Welcome into Seahawks Today, Rumors Mailbag Edition. You have questions, I have answers, and we will get to them, folks, to see what you have in mind. A lot to react to as we are just over a week away from the Seahawks kicking off the season against the Denver Broncos, and the 53-man roster cuts have happened. We've also seen the waiver additions come through. So now let's see what you guys got. First question this week comes from Cool Ass Dude Man. He writes in with a $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Hashtag Seahawks. Shot time. Are we really rolling with Geno? Any chance the Seahawks make a play at Minshew to see what he can offer? Lock/Minshew quarterback room. Cool Ass Dude Man, I'm going to be real with you. The answer is no. I mean, think about this. Gardner Minshew. If the Seahawks really wanted Gardner Minshew, they could have had him months ago. A long time ago they could have had him. And ideally, if he was your guy that you wanted, you could have brought him in, gone through training camp and everything in between to see if he fits or not. Ultimately, they didn't. They paid Geno Smith to bring him back. They made the trade. They brought in Drew Lock. And that's what they're going with. They passed on Baker Mayfield. Jimmy Garoppolo, they ultimately did not make a trade for. I give them slack on that. I would not have paid Jimmy G $26 million. And so Gardner Minshew, no, that's not happening now. They're going to roll with what they have. Geno Smith's going to start. If he struggles, then we'll see Drew Lock at some point. But that's how things will shape out for now anyway. But thanks for the question. Next one comes from Chaston. Chaston says, hashtag Seahawks, will we draft a quarterback next year if we don't do good? Yes. In fact, I think that there's a pretty good chance, even if things went relatively well for the Seahawks, that they would be drafting a quarterback next year no matter what. And next year's quarterback draft class is much better than this past year's quarterback draft class with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud and Spencer Rattler and Will Levis, just among others, just the few that come off the top of my head of those names there. But with the Seahawks, you have 2 first-round picks because you get yours and you get Denver's pick next year. Have to think that one of the two will go towards a quarterback. If not, packaging both to even move up and get a quarterback next year. But I would pretty much bank on that the Seahawks are going to get a quarterback in the first round in next year's draft. And this year, you passed on the quarterback position in the draft, but you took care of the second most important position, the left tackle. You got that with Charles Cross. He's going to be your starting left tackle for years to come. Now you got to take care of that quarterback, find your next franchise guy. I think they're going to shoot for that in this next draft with getting, hopefully, either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. Next question from Brady wants to know, inside linebacker depth move ideas. Very good question as far as depth goes with this inside linebacker group for the Seahawks, because there's not a whole lot of depth right now, realistically, with this group. When you have Cody Barton there and Jordan Brooks as those guys, and then Nick Bellore, your fullback / linebacker, is there as well. But that's really it right now for this group. So if there's an injury or something, then you're going to have to turn to what you have on the practice squad or free agency or something. And at this point in the ball game, there's not any options realistically when it comes to free agency. I think that what you're going to go with if you're the Seahawks is what you have in your practice squad, that you'll promote one of those guys there, one of those guys in the linebacker spot that's already been in your system at this point. I don't see them going out and getting a big-time, inside linebacker, making a signing of some sorts or making a trade, unless we see Jordan Brooks get injured early on. If it's an injury where Jordan Brooks is out and he's going to be out a long time, I don't see them making a move. But realistically, I think your best bet for the Seahawks is to rely on the practice squad as far as I'm concerned. Rick wants to know, are the Seahawks tanking? I hate to sound this way, but unofficially, yes. I mean, I don't like that term, but here's what it is. It's the rebuild process, right? It's, okay, you are closer to the bottom than you are the top, okay? And so the Seahawks, you could put some Band-Aids there. You could find some guys that could get you a couple more wins here or there, but are they going to be the difference between winning a Super Bowl or not? No. And so that's where the Seahawks have found themselves with this team is, hey, they're going to ride with what they got. They're going to let the young guys develop, and hopefully it'll pay off down the road. I like what this team is doing, setting themselves up for their future, but it's a long road ahead. It's not going to be an easy process. This year could be a painful year for the Seahawks. Hopefully there's some high moments here and there from time to time, but realistically, folks, it is closer to a tank than it is of this team being a contender at this point. That's just the reality of it. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. So, yes, I would say if you made me pick, the Seahawks would be considered a tank team for 2022. What say you, though? Our pinned comment today. Let me know. Are you on Team Tank? Do you believe in what the Seahawks are doing? Do you like this? Type Y for yes. Type in for no if you're on Team Tank or not. Let me know in the comments section. Y for yes, in for no if you're on Team Tank. Let me know. Another question coming in from Daniel. Daniel says, #Seahawks, will Dallas win the running back one position because of injuries? I would say not in the immediate future. I think that there's a good chance that we see Rashad Penny back week one. It looks like everything's on track there, that he should be fine. Rashad Penny, I don't know when we'll see him back necessarily. The team is hopeful that he's back week one, but nothing is guaranteed. And Travis Homer has still played very well throughout the preseason. It's a good group. DJ Dallas, I would be shocked if he's your running back one when the season begins. He could be your starter later on in the year if something were to happen to Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker, but God forbid, hope that doesn't happen, that the Seahawks don't find themselves in that situation where they have to turn to DJ Dallas as their starter. It's not a knock on DJ Dallas, but you have really good backs in Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker III. You would hope that those guys are good enough health-wise that they are your guys leading your team going forward. So for me, that's what I'm looking at. I'm hoping that it's Penny and Walker, and then everything goes okay from there. I like DJ Dallas, but he needs to be your third down back or rotational back of some sort, not necessarily your starter. Dat Fat Rat wants to know, do you think since the Seahawks didn't keep any inside linebackers, they could make a trade for an inside linebacker? So that's a good question. Going back to what we kind of talked about earlier with the inside linebacker spot, I don't see it happening. I think if they were going to, they would have done so by now. I think that they're going to go with what they got, and then if something happens, they'll promote from within. That they'll go with one of their practice squad players to potentially get one of those spots. It is bizarre that they're only carrying 3 inside linebackers at this point, but we'll see what they do. I don't see a trade coming. I think that they're going to play it by ear and see what the situations present themselves, quite frankly. But thanks for the question there. Today's show presented by BetUS, and BetUS offering a great deal just for Seahawks Today viewers. If you go to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code Seahawks125, they're going to give you a 125% deposit bonus. So you may be asking yourself, well, what does that mean? What is a deposit bonus? Let's say that you were to buy a pizza. They are going to give you an extra pizza and a slice on top of your regular pizza for free. It's quite the deal that they're offering there at BetUS just for Chat Sports viewers. And here are the odds. Week 1, the Seahawks taking on the Denver Broncos. And I got to tell you, that bet is very intriguing. If the Seahawks as a 6.5-point underdog, I mean, you get 3 points for being the home team. So you're giving me 6.5 to work with? I might have to make this bet myself at chatsports.com/bet. Over-under at 42. Russell Wilson, I mean, there's going to be some points in this game. You'd have to think. I'd hit the over on this one. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Seahawks125 at checkout to get your bets in today. Next question comes from Legion OF. #Seahawks. Who do you think are the cornerstones for us moving forward? Oh, I didn't see the boom sign. Legion of Boom, of course. Who do you think are the cornerstones for us moving forward? It's a few pieces. For one, it's your starting left tackle, Charles Cross, who you spent the number 9 overall pick on, and that you are banking on is going to be solid for your future at that left tackle spot. You hope that he's your starting left tackle for the next 10 years. That'd be the ideal. Also, I would point to Kenneth Walker III. When you talk about rookies, that's a guy that should be an elite running back, I think, in no time, and should be somebody that your offense becomes dependent upon eventually. So those two guys I would be looking for as your quote-unquote cornerstones. Also, of course, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett as the veterans of that bunch on the offense for obvious reasons, and you're paying DK Metcalf more money than anyone else on the roster going forward. Defensively, starting with the veterans, I would go with Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs, 2 Pro Bowl caliber safeties on that backside. Those guys are really good teammates as well. I would look for those 2. And then when you talk about the young talent on the defense, I think maybe he's not officially a cornerstone yet, but we'll call him one, I think, maybe even by the end of the year, is Boye Mafe for what he brings to the table. With the expectations from him, with as far as he's come on this Seahawks defense already, the progress that he's made, I think that he's going to fill that void. He's going to be, by the end of the year, a cornerstone piece for that defense, and as far as I'm concerned. But also Jordan Brooks, obviously, at veterans as well. He has got to be a cornerstone piece, second in the league in tackling last year. A lot of high hopes for him as he leads that defense. So, which young players would you want to build around? We know this Seahawks team has a good foundation. The foundational pieces are set. But what about this group moving forward and going into the future? I want to know from you guys. Which young players do you want to build around in Seattle? Give me a couple names. Let me know in the comments section. Which ones you would want to build around for your roster for the Seahawks going forward? Let me know. Wayne writes, #Seahawks, whose ego was too big in the Russell/Pete marriage? You got to show the love to Russ. I put more blame on Pete than Russell, wanting move on to a winning environment. You know, that's a very good question, because the core of the issues with Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll came down to the run game, right? Pete Carroll wanted to run the football more. and wanted to be a ground attack. Meanwhile, what we saw from Russell Wilson, obviously he wanted to air it out more, and that was a point of contention. I mean, you can go back to the days when Schottenheimer was around and everything with that. And so with that being said, I would say that it kind of went both ways. Where I struggled with, though, was if this was a decision by John Schneider, if he was told basically pick me as in Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson, one or the other, he made the wrong decision. I would go with Russell Wilson if we're talking about longevity and for the long term. I don't know how much longer Pete Carroll's going to coach. But this marriage isn't what it was built out to be. It looks really good from the beginning, but ultimately it's probably best for each other that they were going to move apart eventually at some point, that it just was too much conflict there towards the end, that these two were not seeing eye to eye. So I guess ego-wise, I would lean towards Pete Carroll as far as the ego thing here. But in Russell Wilson's case, he doesn't go without blame either. So it's one of those deals where, okay, Russell Wilson was probably more right than Pete Carroll, but it doesn't mean that Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson weren't both wrong here. It was a situation that unfortunately did not go as planned, did not finish ideally, and you hate that it ended the way it did. Next question comes from Adam. Adam says, #Seahawks. What do you expect from the Seahawks defense for Week 1 versus Russell Wilson? I would expect a lot of blitzes, a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson. I think that this Denver Broncos team, with a new quarterback and everything, wants to prove that they're going to move the football, that they're going to be able to move it through the air and do what they haven't been able to do the last few years. So I would expect a lot of heavy pressure. I mean, think about this. Those guys on that Seahawk defense went up against Russell Wilson in practice for years, and Russell Wilson was wearing that red jersey and never got to be hit. And now all these Seahawk players, after all these years, where I'm sure they wanted to hit Russell Wilson, but they couldn't, finally get the opportunity to lay the wood on Russell Wilson, you better believe they're going to do that. So I expect some heavy blitzes, some penetration coming, and that they're going to be after Russell Wilson, and it's going to be an interesting show to watch. I can tell you that much. So, predict the score. Seahawks versus Broncos. Let me know in the comments section of how you see that game going. Another question coming in. Hey, Tyler, do you think KJ Wright will come back? He's asked fans if he can come back. I say only on second or third downs. I say put Jamal Adams at inside linebacker on third downs. No, KJ Wright's retired. He's not coming back. And we've seen the Seahawks already say to KJ Wright that they don't feel there's a fit for him in this type of scheme, that they want him around in a non-playing role. So that's what I envision for KJ Wright. Really good player. I know that you hear people like Producer Chugs is trying to tell me, well, Tom Brady came back. I mean, it's different, okay? I mean, it's an aging linebacker that doesn't fit this scheme. He wants to come back. He would like to play, but this decision's not up to KJ Wright. This is up to Seahawks management. They've made their case known. KJ Wright will be around, but he won't be on the field. But thanks for the question. As always, follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, at Tyler Jones Live, also on Facebook as well, talking about your favorite team each and every day on those social media platforms. Appreciate you joining us here on Seahawks Today. We'll see you next time. All right, so we got one more segment coming up in just a moment. I want to know, what fast food restaurant has the best French fries? As producer Jeremy Chugs rejoins me right now. Chugsy, I'm sure you have an interesting
Gonna be
answer.
a hot take right here. Chick-fil-A is trash.
Whoa.
Their fries, not that good. Their sauces are what make the fries. Fries, never crispy. They're always flimsy like flip-flops.
That's a very bad take.
What worse than Chick-fil-A, the worst of all, In-N-Out. You might as well deep fry some cardboard. In-N-Out.
I hate how mushy the
garbage
fries are at In-N-Out. I have to order my fries there well done and still get the animal style on it just for it to be decent.
I'm not worth it for me.
For me, the answer for best fries, I got to go with the OG, McDonald's, Mickey D's.
You can't go wrong with that.
They load that with all the salt in the world.
What sauce do you use to dip it in?
I don't eat any sauce with it. I just eat them plain.
Oh, wow.
Fries do not need sauce. And I cannot stand ketchup. Ketchup is nasty.
What?
It's horrible. Ketchup's awful. And so I eat my fries just plain. That's the way they're meant to be.
Just raw dog in it.
He said that, not me. What about you guys? Let's check in the comments section.
Wendy's has pretty good fries.
Yes. Let's see.
Do you like Wendy's?
No. Do you like Wendy's?
I love Wendy's.
Let's see. What else we got here? Sajin says Rowley's. Bro, In-N-Out gave me diarrhea. Oh, that sounds like a personal problem. Let's see. Checkers. I've never had Checkers. Monsoon says this guy. Let's see. Arsenal Apex says, yes, Papa. Thank you. Mickey D's by far the worst, says Jason. Wendy's the best. What? Wendy's, okay. Let's go back in time in the hot tub time machine for a second, folks. Wendy's, their fries were better when they didn't leave the potato skins on them. Wendy's used to have the best fries, but then they changed them and left the potato skin on them. They ruined them.
I like it.
So Wendy's,
I might be in the minority as well, but McDonald's fries dipped in sweet and sour, delicious.
Wendy's, they can. I think that we're going to see in like 5 or 10 years them make a return of some sorts with their original fries.
I don't think so. Also, Wayne King with the curveball, the Taco Bell nacho fries.
Not bad. Not bad. The nacho fries. Steve says Red Robin. Red Robin does those endless fries, I believe.
Does that count as a fast food place?
No, it's not fast food. Does not qualify for this. Sorry.
Jack in the Box fries are pretty good.
You'd have to pay me to eat a Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is nasty. Let's see. Cattle. Biscuitville. What the hell is Biscuitville? Checkers. Mm-hmm. Checkers is that's an East Coast place, I think.
Yeah.
I've never had Checkers. All right.
So, going to kind of shift the conversation. I know two bigger guys. We love talking food here, but
we do. We can talk food all day.
This is about Seahawks.
Yes.
So, we're going to ask you this because Tyler has his last Seahawks record prediction coming up.
Yes.
Very spicy.
Very spicy. Whoa. What game are you looking forward to the most this year? We'll go over that. I'll reveal my answers in just a second. But, Jeremy, how about you? What game are you most looking forward to?
I mean, it's going to be a chalk answer, but week 1, Monday Night Football. Like, how can you not enjoy that, the spectacle of everything, Russ coming back, the 12s, how are they going to respond? How's Pete Carroll going to respond? Are they going to talk? I mean, not even the game. Are Pete Carroll and Russ going to meet in the middle of the field after the game?
Yeah, and what about the fans? Are you going to be booing? Are you going to be cheering?
Like if the Seahawks smash the Broncos week 1, do you think Russ is going over to Pete Carroll and giving him a handshake? I think he's heading to the locker room with his tail between his legs if that happens.
Ooh, yeah. I think they'll be cordial. They had enough good memories together. I think that it'll be nice when the game happens and when the game's over, but during the game itself, all bets are off.
Will the Seahawks have like a little video package that they play before the game of like, thanks for the memories, Russ?
I would say no because he's not retiring.
I know, but
there's a good chance. It might be 5 years from now, but there's a good chance that Russell Wilson will play a game in Seattle again before his career's over.
I know, totally different sport, but when James Harden came back to play in Houston against the Rockets for the first time, they had a video package of like James Harden, thanks for the memories, Rocket for life or whatever.
He didn't even win a championship and they did that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's soft. That is soft. I guess I could see it happening, but I would not want it to happen personally. Somebody says, hey, Tyler, I thought you were about to say you were leaving Chat Sports. No, I'm not leaving Chat Sports. I'm going to be here forever. Chuck's going to be here forever, too.
Yeah.
Daniel says I married a Bronco fan. I'm sorry.
Sorry for your loss.
Wayne says I moved to Phoenix, so I'm looking forward to seeing these insufferable Cardinals fans get beat by an 0-6 Hawks team.
And what a weird situation in Arizona. They have to tell their starting quarterback that there's a stipulation in his contract that he has to study. Is he 12?
I don't I didn't like studying in school, but if I was a football quarterback getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars, I think I'd study.
That's the equivalent of hey, Kyler, if you eat all your vegetables, we'll give you a scoop of ice cream at the end. What? He's a grown man,
right?
And they have to tell him hey, can you do your work at your job?
The Super Chat menu, by the way, I owed a beer cheers to that first question that came up in the mailbag.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go ahead and pull up the Super Chat menu.
Here we go.
Every shout-out, for every Super Chat, that's a shout-out on the show. $5 gets you a beer cheers, and $20 will do a shot.
Steve Gutierrez says the Lions game will be underrated this year. I think that'll be a decent game because the Lions are.
I like Dan Campbell.
The Lions are up and coming. I think they'll have a decent year. I mean, maybe I'm just getting sucked in by watching Hard Knocks this offseason, but
yeah,
I think they'll be okay this year. They have some talented guys, and it'll be interesting. It'll be a good matchup against the Seahawks. It's kind of a barometer to see where y'all are at.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the good. I'm looking forward to Week 3 against Atlanta because you can build some confidence knowing that if you beat Atlanta, you're not the worst team in the league.
Do you think by that time Ritter will be the starter?
I would guess no. I would think that Ritter, when he becomes the starter, probably is after a bye week.
Yeah.
When they give him more time to prepare, personally, but we'll see. So our final segment, we'll break down the Seahawks schedule in just one moment, but still taking your Super Chats if you got them as well. Super Chat for a shout-out, $5 for beer cheers, $20 will get you a shot on today's show. Who did I owe the beer cheers to?
To Cool-Ass Dude Man.
To Cool-Ass Dude Man?
Here.
Here's to your cool ass.
Dude.
Dude.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Mountains are blue.
Mountains are blue.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but hey, the mountains are still blue. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. Final segment on Seahawks Today. Today, our breakdown of the 2022 schedule for your Seattle Seahawks. We'll get started with that right now. Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we are breaking down the 2022 NFL schedule for your Seattle Seahawks. I am about to give you my final prediction for the Seahawks, what their record will be for 2022. Now that we know what the roster looks like and all the changes that have been made, we will give you our final predictions here from Seahawks Today before the season begins. Let's go ahead and run through and remind you what the matchups are. It begins Week 1 against the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football on September 12th. Then a road game with the division rival San Francisco 49ers on September 18th. Followed by a matchup with the Atlanta Falcons to end the month of September, potentially against the worst team in the league. Then October 2nd, it's a road game at the Detroit Lions against Dan Campbell and company, and that is followed up by a contest on the road against the New Orleans Saints, followed by a home game against the division rivals, the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. Then, the first of 2 trips to SoFi Stadium in 2022 for the Seahawks when they take on the Los Angeles Chargers on October 23rd. Just around Halloween, things will get spooky, taking on Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants on October 30th. Then, you move to the month of November, another game against the Cardinals, this time on the road in Glendale. That followed by a trip to Germany when the Seahawks will take on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then the bye week follows. Good timing after the trip to Germany. Much needed rest there, which will be followed by a home game against the Las Vegas Raiders. You move to the month of December, and the Seahawks return to SoFi to take on the LA Rams, followed by a home game against the Carolina Panthers. Then the second primetime matchup of the year for the Seahawks, as they will be on Thursday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers, the first game they'll ever play on Amazon Prime Video. Then, around Christmas, they will take on the Kansas City Chiefs, as I'm sure Andy Reid will be jolly looking like Santa Claus. And then January 1st, it's a matchup against the Jets on New Year's Day. And then to end the year on either January 7th or 8th, that date still to be determined. We'll find that out later on in the year, what date that will be. The Seahawks will end the season with a home game against the LA Rams. So we will give you my record prediction and break down every game in just one moment. But before we do that, it's your turn here on Seahawks Today. What is your record prediction for the Seahawks in 2022? Let me know in the comments section. Our pinned comment today, what is your record prediction for the Seahawks this season? Let me know in the comments section below of how things will shape out for the Seahawks this season. We begin with Week 1 in the National Football League on Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson makes his return to Seattle, and the NFL didn't wait very long at all for this matchup to occur. And I got to tell you, I think the Seahawks are going to be competitive, that it's going to be a good game that comes right down to the wire, but ultimately this Broncos team is going to be too much. I have the Broncos winning Week 1 against Russell Wilson, against the Seattle Seahawks here. Russell Wilson getting it done. Not ideal, but nonetheless, I see that happening. Week 2, another loss for the Seahawks. They fall at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers on the road. Not a great start for the Seahawks beginning the year 0-2. But then the Seahawks return home on the 25th for their first win of the year as they take on the Atlanta Falcons. Look, I know both teams are in the bottom half of the league, but I got to tell you, the Atlanta Falcons are a lot worse than the Seahawks are. Seahawks get the job done at home, get their first win of the year. Then they travel on the road to take on Detroit. I think the Lions are going to be one of the most improved teams in the league this year. Going to be too much. The Seahawks ultimately lose that game against the Lions on October 2nd. We'll go through the rest of these games in just a second, but looking back at that game against the Broncos that I have the Seahawks losing to, I think one of the things about this is the game around the game, right? How's the crowd going to respond? What about Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson? Their handshake at midfield, how's all that going to be? What about you, the fan? What's your good reaction going to be to Russell Wilson's return? Are you going to boo or are you going to cheer? Let me know in the comments section. Type B for boo, type C for cheer. Let me know what you will be doing when Russell Wilson returns to Seattle. October 9th, the Seahawks travel to New Orleans to take on Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are going to be a really good team this year. I think that's a loss. Superdome, one of the toughest places in the league to play. The Seahawks have had decent success against Arizona over the years. A home game with the Cardinals, I think this is an upset win and could provide some positive momentum potentially for the Seahawks. I have them getting it done against the Cardinals for a home contest there on October 16th. And then the week that follows, to me, this is a very interesting week as the Seahawks take on Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, I think, is going to win the MVP this year. I have the Chargers winning the AFC West. Brandon Staley's got a really good football team. Khalil Mack was one of the best, if not best, defensive signings of any team in the league this year. That team is loaded, and it's going to be a really good measuring stick to stack yourself up against, I think, a true Super Bowl contender in the Los Angeles Chargers this year. And going up against that prolific offense and some really good defensive players, going to be too much. I have the Chargers winning that one. Then, to round out the month of October, the Seahawks get back in the win column as they knock down the New York Giants and get a win at home there on October 30th. It might be spooky, but not necessarily for your Seattle Seahawks. Got a great deal that we're offering Seahawk fans. With the season just around the corner, you got to be wearing your Seahawk jerseys to the game. Whether you're at the stadium or at home, you need to represent your favorite team. And there's still time to get these jerseys before the season begins. You can order yours now at chatsports.com/DKJersey. Look, we know DK is going to be around the next couple of years. So why not go ahead, replace that Russell Wilson jersey, and get you a DK Metcalf jersey now. Be rocking number 14, whether it's neon or any of the other Seahawk colors. We have them all for you in one place. Chatsports.com/DKJersey. November 6th, a road contest at the Arizona Cardinals. That one I have as a loss. The Cards get their revenge on Seattle after the early season win from the Seahawks. Then things for the Seahawks for their next matchup. I have them taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Munich, Germany, and it's going to be really fascinating just making this trip and seeing all the things that unfold of this, right? This one has got a lot of folks excited, and rightfully so, for this game. And possibly the last time we'll see Tom Brady take on the Seattle Seahawks ever. And I got to tell you, I've always been a Tom Brady fan. I like Brady personally, and I don't see this as a win for Seattle. This offense in Tampa Bay is one of the most talented offenses in the league. That's going to be a problem to deal with. They could play this game in Tampa. They could play this game in Mongolia. They could play this game in Germany. The Bucs would win. I got the Bucs winning that one on November 13th. So, where are you going to be for the game? Are you going to Germany to watch your Seahawks? You're going to be enjoying it on your couch. Are you going to be watching this game from Italy? I don't know. Tell me where you're watching this game from. Wherever you're at, let us know in the comments section. You know that we're going to be doing these watch parties all year long. You don't have to go to Germany to enjoy the game. Be with us. Let us know where you're watching that game from, if you're going to make the trip out there or not. Very curious if you guys are going to be out there and represent the Seattle Seahawks when they take on Tom Brady and the Bucs in Germany. Let us know where you're going to watch that game from. Then the Seahawks, after the bye week, take on the Raiders at home. The Raiders going to be a really good team, a playoff contender with first-year head coach Josh McDaniels. I have the Raiders winning that game to end the month of November around Thanksgiving weekend there for the Seahawks. And then we move to the latter portion of the season, beginning the month of December. The Seahawks don't see the Rams until then, a very long time before they take on the defending Super Bowl champions. And this one, for me, I think the Rams win it. I think the Rams are a better team. The Rams are going to be contending to get back to the Super Bowl again. I know there's some questions about Matt Stafford's elbow and everything, but that team is still really solid all the way around no matter what. And by that time, they might have Odell Beckham back. They might sign him and have him back on their roster. I got the Rams winning that one. Then the Seahawks return home on December 11th, taking on the Panthers. The Panthers, Baker Mayfield and company, that team, as much as I like Baker, I think that team around him is just a mess there. Home game in December. I don't know if Matt Rule's going to be the head coach or not by that point. Give me the Seahawks to get things done. Thursday Night Football against the 49ers. On the unfortunate end of things, I have the Seahawks losing that game on Thursday Night Football. If we know anything, though, when the Seahawks and the Niners face off, when it's a primetime game, it's must-see TV. They're going to lay everything out on the line. It's going to be competitive, but the Niners, ultimately too much. We'll go through the rest of the schedule, the final few games, in just one moment. But before we do, why are you not subscribed to Seahawks Today? I mean, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel now. The latest news, rumors, free agency, trades, breaking news, and everything in between is all in one place. It's right here on Seahawks Today. Smash that sub button now and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. It's youtube.com/Seahawks TV to subscribe today. You ain't alive if you ain't subscribed. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Week 16, the Seahawks take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. And Kansas City, one of the loudest places in the league. They're going to be right there in playoff contention, potentially in a battle with the Chargers there towards the end of the year. I know this Chiefs team is going to look different without Tyreek Hill, but I think that we're going to see a Patrick Mahomes this year that's more efficient without Tyreek Hill. He's not going to take so many deep shots and so many chances downfield. I think he's going to be more effective by getting the ball in short yardage, in the short passing game, that he's going to adapt that way. Mahomes and company will be too much. They get that win on Christmas against the Seahawks on Christmas Eve. Then we celebrate New Year's Eve with a win against the New York Jets. Zach Wilson and that team, they are pitiful, folks. That should be a win. Might be an ugly game, but the Seahawks get it done. And then the final game of the regular season. The Seahawks end the season on a 2-game win streak. Taking on the Rams, whether it's January 7th or 8th, it's a home game. I am of the belief that that week we'll see the Rams probably sitting their starters as they gear up for the playoffs and everything for that. I highly doubt that the Rams will be playing much of their big-time players at the end of the year, that they should be in very good position for the playoffs. So with that, Seahawks, I think, in the season on a high note, getting back-to-back wins, beating the Jets and the Rams to end the year. So with that, my official prediction for your Seattle Seahawks in 2022 is a 6-11 overall record. No, I did not pick any ties. I do not believe in ties. Even if I thought real deep down inside a tie was going to happen, I could not live with myself if I picked a tie to occur. So 6-11, not ideal, but I think with those 2 wins to end the year, young players developing, there could be some positive momentum for this team heading into the offseason and gearing up in 2023. So before we go, as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tyler Jones Live, also on Facebook as well, where I'm covering your favorite team each and every day. Appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today. All right, so that is my record prediction. What is your record prediction for the Seattle Seahawks? Let's check the comments section. I'm seeing 6-11, 8-9, 9-8. Remember, Jeremy, too, we play 17 games now, so it's not 10-6. It's not 6-10. You got to factor in the 17. 6-11 was my pick. What's yours, Jeremy?
I think you hit it pretty close on the nose. I think the Rams, they might take a small step back this year, Super Bowl hangover. So I don't know if they're playing their second string in that last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go one game below, have them going 5-12.
Okay.
But good thing is, higher pick in the draft. I think this year's selection of draft quarterbacks is a lot better than we saw this year.
Yeah.
And they go out and find their QB1 of the future.
Let's see.
And I think that's why you don't see them going after the trades for Minshew.
Right.
Anybody like that. It doesn't make sense.
Let's see who else we got here. Dafad Red says 4-14, 10-7 wild card appearance from Sonic Hawks Nation. That'd be a surprise. Monsoon says 6-11. I see 5-12, 7-10. So those are some of the predictions there. So
Steve said 10-7, and if not, he'll donate a $20 shot. We're going to keep you to that, Steve.
Okay.
Going to keep you to that.
You might as well just give us the $20 shot now, because we're going to go here in a second.
You can send it in right now.
We can stay. We're about to end the stream, but we can stay if you buy some shots.
Yeah, let me put a minute on the clock. We're going to see. We got a couple other people that need some studio space, so
right.
We can hold them off if we get some super chats in. I just started the clock.
Okay.
We have 1 minute.
Okay, so 1 minute on the clock. And if you all want us to stay on the air and keep talking Seahawks, we can do that, but got to buy some shots or some drinks for us or something. So.
Dirty D said, screenshot it. It's up here. It's screenshotted right here. And plus, this video is going to be on YouTube forever, so we can just come back to it and find the comment.
Once it's on the internet, it'll never go away.
Yeah.
Guys, been a lot of fun today. Always enjoy doing this show. We're with you each and every Wednesday, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific.
For everyone here, I do have a quick question. Should we start an hour later? Me and Tyler were talking about this last week. We're here in Dallas, Texas. We know y'all are on the West Coast. Y'all are a little behind us. Would y'all want us to start an hour later, or do you think the time we're at right now is good? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no in the chat.
Yeah, we can start at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 on the West Coast for you guys if you want.
Give me Y for yes, N for no. Would y'all want us to start an hour later? Because we can do that. We can just come in an hour later on our live days, and we can start the show at, what did you say, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, 4 o'clock Pacific, yeah.
Pacific.
And then Jeremy and I, we can sleep in a little bit on Wednesday mornings.
But I want to see, all of y'all are the ones that are watching. Dr. Chicken says no. Monsoon says yes. Y'all are the ones that are watching, so we want to make it the most convenient for y'all. I want to know what would be better. Is if we started an hour later, or if we kept the time how it is right now.
Let's see. I'm seeing a little bit of both.
It's split. Oh, that doesn't help me a lot. Daniel says he's in Seattle.
Okay.
So
just let me know when happy hour starts, and I'll be there. Steve says no. Okay, well, we will.
We can keep it how it is right now, but
for the time being, we're going to be here at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 Pacific, unless that changes otherwise. But
yeah,
we have a great time with you guys each and every week, and I see that that sub button, the sub is in there. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a moment, so you can be reminded when we do these live shows, and also when we do our watch parties. Got another one coming up for that Broncos game. Going to be a lot of fun, so make sure that you are subscribed so you never miss a moment of Seahawks Today.
And see, that Fat Rat says he's got football practice after school. So if we started an hour later, would you be able to watch? I mean, that's what I'm thinking, because, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock is a little early. People are still at work, at school, doing whatever.
And people like Steve, I think, got in here late. He's asking for Isaiah Dunn reaction. We did that earlier, but if you missed that, we will have a VOD cut. We'll have a video on that coming up in probably within the next 30 minutes.
Maybe not next week, maybe at some point, but maybe we test going an hour later, TJ.
Yeah. Guys.
And Matthew, you said 3 is nice. Too many shows start at 5, so we'll start in the middle. We'll start at 4.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, we got to go. We will see you all throughout the week here on the channel. Next live show will be next Wednesday. Got our watch party coming up for the Broncos game. He is Jeremy Chuggs. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.